Hey everyone, my name is Ken. I'm the CEO of Wheaton Travel based here in New York City, and today I'm doing a live stream of things that I've come to learn in travel in the 21st century. Let's put it into perspective. I started in the travel industry many years ago, where you would come into me and sit opposite me. We would discuss your travel arrangements, and then I would make reservations for you via telephone. And if you wanted a hotel anywhere in the world, I would have to write a letter. Dear hotel, this is to introduce our valued passengers, Mr. and Mrs. blah, 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 who want to stay for this period, etc., etc., etc. That'll give you an indication of my life experience within the travel industry. And I don't need to tell you, things have taken a change that even we people in the travel industry are battling to keep up to date with. However, in my opinion, there are certain logical rules to follow. And unless you're a trained travel agent, you don't know these logical rules to follow. So what do? You go to an OTA, an online travel agency, and you try and put it all together in the hope that it's going to work out. And a lot of the time it does. I will give credit where it's due. But one hiccup in the road, who do you turn to? Nobody really. So my valuable advice moving forward is that you should always employ the services of a qualified travel agent, in the knowledge that travel agents do not rip you off financially. They don't. They have experience. They can put together something quicker than you can in a heartbeat. They know where exactly to go to find what is necessary to make your trip important and a roaring success. They also know that over the years they have built solid relationships with people in foreign countries, which means that if you're going to, I don't know, let's say you're going to Egypt. I have been working with a specific company since 1991. I know them intimately. I know that they will always give me the best price available. I know that they will get me into places that other travel agents will not. I also know that if anything hits the fan and you need to be evacuated immediately, one phone call from me and you will be out of the danger zone and on your way home. OTAs don't do that. Trust me, I've had my own experience with that, and it wasn't pleasant at all. So I am going to create a series where I'm going to go live and I am going to explain to you some of our major destinations, not all of them because there's just too many, but in a nutshell, what I have decided to do based here in New York City is that I'm going to major or specialize, is a better word, in the countries Morocco, Egypt, Jordan, Turkey, Kenya, and Tanzania safaris with a little side trip to Zanzibar in the Indian Ocean. And then my original birthplace, South Africa, and the southern African countries, which, as you know, are Namibia, Botswana for unbelievable game viewing, Zambia, Rhodesia, formerly known as Rhodesia, now Zimbabwe, home of the Victoria Falls, and Mozambique. And if you want a little beach time, we'll go off into the Indian Ocean islands of Mauritius and the Seychelles. Those are my specialties. Today, I want to talk to you about Turkey, which you're hearing me pronounce this differently. It was mandated by the government that the country we've always called Turkey was kind of being mocked with the name Turkey, with memes of all kinds of nonsense, as we all eat turkey for Thanksgiving, blah, blah, blah. And so the government decided, no, you will call it by its original name, and it's Turkey, and that's it. Take it or leave it. Last year, in April, actually, I decided that I was going to take a very, very extensive journey to Turkey. And I was going to go and spend a lengthy time in the city of Istanbul, which is not the capital, but which was formerly known as Constantinople. I landed up spending 8 months. You have no idea how fascinating, amazing, dramatic, colorful, joyful. This city is full of presence and full of soul and full of song and music and people and camaraderie and ethos, and so much about Istanbul that I decided to spend the lengthy time there, and I got to know the city really, really, really well. Another thing I didn't do one thing I did not do while I was there was I didn't hire taxis anywhere. So I didn't have to have the whining about, the taxis are going to rip me off, and wah, 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 wah. I also took Uber very infrequently, only because I had to travel a vast distance for some business I was doing. But again, I also didn't do them in the city so that I could say, they're ripping me off, they're ripping me off. I find the tourists keep on, go away to a foreign place to find everything wrong with it, and that's just stupid. If you want to find things wrong with foreign countries, stay in your own country, for the love of God. Stay at home. Then you won't have to put up with any stressful situations. Now, I'm the first to admit that when you travel, there's a lot of anxiety, of course. What's going to happen, blah, blah, blah. There's many things that go through your head. So I can understand a sort of an off-balance kind of emotion when you get to your destination. But I really think that if you go with a calm mind and you've done some research and you've got somebody holding your hand throughout your journey, you will have an experience that you will never, ever forget. Now, with all of that said, I decided that because I am now very, very familiar with the public transportation system in Istanbul, and by that I mean the bus system, the metro, the funiculars, the trams, the nostalgic trams, the waterways, the cruises on the waterways back and forth, that I was going to put together a journey for 8 days and 7 nights to Istanbul, which includes your accommodation, breakfast each day, and all taxes. All entrance fees were applicable, but most important of all, it is going to give you access to the public transportation system as opposed to a 45-seater coach. Because when you're on those things, we're always waiting for this one, and where is he? Oh, he's late, he's just finishing his shopping, blah, blah, blah. I don't have patience with nonsense like that. I honestly don't. So we're going to do it by public transportation. And again, since I'm so familiar with the public transportation, I will lead you. So I'm taking the journey myself. I'm taking a maximum of 10 people. I do not want a whole boatload of people who all have different ideas and all whining and blowing wind up one another. I didn't like that meal, blah, 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 blah. I couldn't be bothered with that. I'm too old now. And so I'm focusing very much on the market in my age category, which is the baby boomer market. In my age category, there are so many people who are solo, either by choice or by loss of a partner, or just getting on in life. And something that really made me sad the other day is I read a post where a man said, I'm 84 years old, and I know that I'm never going to find love again. But I really would settle for someone just to hold my hand and go skipping down the road with me. And that's when I thought, you know what, sir, you are my market. You be one of those 10 passengers. I'll hold your hand and I'll go skipping down the road with you, and we will have one hell of an amount of fun. So, if you want to know a little more about that program, go to the website turkeytourismusa.com. TURKEYTOURISM USA.com. And at the top, you'll see itineraries. Click on it, and you can read the day-to-day itinerary in detail, exactly where we're going, where we're eating, where we're staying, and everything in that brochure I have vetted personally. So I take full responsibility for this entire program, and I'm coming with. Because I will be shoving you down into the metro and onto the boats and off the boats and helping you with this, that, and the next thing. Just for an enormous amount of fun. 3 departures. 1 over Memorial Day, 1 over July 4th weekend, and 1 over Labor Day. And get this, 8 days, 7 nights, all breakfast, all sightseeing, all entrance fees. And by the way, I'll very transparent, I don't know much. I know where things are and I know what they are. But I couldn't take you into a mosque and give you a whole historical account of who built it, when, why, how, blah, blah, blah. I couldn't do that. So I've hired a local guide in Istanbul to join us on the days that we go into places that you need explanation of. Once we do, and all of that, now, as I've just told you, is $1,995. It does not matter if you take the May departure, or the July departure, or the September departure. I have negotiated rates for the same journey, for the same length of time, for the same inclusions, for the same price, all the way through. So go ahead, go have a look at the itinerary. I think you'll like it. And just beneath it, you will feel my inspiration for Istanbul, because I wrote a love letter to Istanbul. And you can read it. It's just beneath the red color brochure that you will see on Turkey Tourism USA. When the tour is over, remember where you're located. You're located now in the Middle East. So if you want to see more of Turkey, I will help you with arrangements to go to Cappadocia. Cappadocia is it's a region. The main town is Göreme, and around it, you can go and have a look at, if you go to Vuitton, I'll tell you that in a moment. If you go and look at my blogs, you will see the magnificent beauty of this region. You may have already seen pictures of it where you see the early morning balloons and hundreds of them, not 1 or 2, but absolutely hundreds of them up in the sky floating above Göreme. That is a wonderful stop. Across to the east, to the west coast, is a city called Izmir on the coast, on the Aegean Sea, actually. And there you're an hour away from Ephesus, the ancient city of Ephesus. And apparently everybody passed through there. Cleopatra, the Virgin Mary had a house there. But again, I don't know all the history of it. And therefore we will have a guide to point out all of those things. I'm not going to let you rely on my limited knowledge. I know how to maneuver. I know how to get around. I know how to get you on and off and in and out. But I'm never going to claim to know that I can act as your tour guide. Your tour leader, yeah. Tour guide, no. And then, of course, I've built in time for luxuriating in hammams in Istanbul, because we all need a little downtime. I've built in time for shopping. I've built in time for us to disperse from one another. Let's say at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we've just had lunch and we're in a certain area and there's certain things to see. I would say, all right, go in that direction, that direction, that direction. This is what you'll see. And I'll give you notes on that. And then come back here at 4 o'clock and we'll do the next thing that we're going to do together. So that's the first trip I want to talk to you about. That is Turkey. If you have any questions, feel free to pop them up. I will answer as many as I can while we're going through this. Is hence why I'm looking at my little dashboard down here. Roger Matthews, hi, welcome. Nice to have you along. The next trip that I am going to be talking about a lot is Egypt. A lot of people say, Egypt, too much haggling, too much this, too much that. Again, I have to shoot that down. You cannot, first of all, Egypt is not a DIY destination. And the sooner you get that in mind, the better. Here's what happens. It happened to me the first time that I went there back in 1991, and I nearly collapsed. I thought, oh, this is the end of it. I'm dead. See, then I carried a South African passport, and there had been no diplomatic relations between Egypt and the Republic of South Africa, which is my home. There had been no diplomatic relations for many years, given the government's stance at the time. And so I arrived, and the first thing that happened is the immigration, no, not the immigration, some individual came up to me. I didn't know who he was. I had no clue, and I didn't know this was going to happen, and took my passport away from me and said, I'm going to go and get your visa for you. Jeez, I nearly had a heart attack. Why am I not coming with you? Where you go? I went into a total panic. But that's the way they do it. They'll take your passport, they'll go and get the visa, they'll apply for it, and then, of course, expect a tip. Doesn't everybody? Come on, really. We talk about being ripped off, but every country's got its funny little quirks. Well, it turns out that even still today, when you arrive at Cairo International Airport, somebody is going to walk up to you in a very official uniform, and they're going to look as though they are figures of authority, and they're going to say, good morning and welcome to Cairo. Please may I have your passport? And you don't know, so you're going to give it over, and they're going to tell you to wait here. And so you do. And they mean good. They will take your passport, they will get the visa, they will bring it back to you. They will, of course, then, a little bit of money for me. Fact of the matter is this. You get off the aircraft, you walk down the Avio bridge, you enter into the airport building, You do a spin around to the bank, you slap down $25 US cash, you give them your passport, boom, they stamp a visa into your passport right there. You go to luggage, pick it up, go out to your transfer. Now, the thing that I do find irritating in Egypt, despite the fact that I adore the country and have been there many times, is that the moment you step out of the passengers only area, there are hordes of people, everyone a taxi driver, everyone a tour operator, everyone, I'll help you with your travel arrangements. Okay, just because you have a car or a minivan does not make you a travel agent. And so that's the reason that I always say to people that are going to Egypt, please, for the love of God, it's not an expensive destination. It's affordable luxury. Please let me plan your trip for you. All right? It's not going to make me or break me. I'm not going to be able to retire off of you because I'm going to sell you a trip to Egypt. It's affordable luxury. But at least you know that the minute you step off the aircraft, somebody is going to meet you right at the aircraft door and take you from that moment through the whole process. In fact, what they do is they put you in the VIP lounge. Go wash up, go and have a cocktail, go have something to eat, give me your passports, I'm getting your visas, I'll be back with your baggage, to pick you up. We'll go and get your baggage together after immigration. We'll go through customs together. I'll take you to the vehicle and take you to your hotel. That's my team in Egypt. And then they look after you from there on out. And you can expect this. Hello, my name is, for the sake of it, let's call him Mohammed or Mahmoud. This is who I am. This is what I do. Now, for tomorrow, we have this planned. So I'm going to leave you here on your own for the afternoon to relax at the pool, at the spa, whatever you want to do. Go walk around. It's perfectly safe. It's busy and bustling and all kinds of things happening. You don't need to be afraid of being robbed or mugged or petty theft or any of that nonsense, because that does not exist in Muslim culture. It just does. It's not appropriate. Having said that, you can take the afternoon off, get acclimatized, have a nice dinner, get to bed, and the next day, your tour guide will be there. Now, the guy that met you at the airport will be there, and he will be introducing you to your Egyptologist, who is going to join you for the rest of the day. And he is going to take you on the set route that you and I have planned together to show you things that you would like to see. And then he will explain in depth stuff that I cannot even begin to explain. Oh, I can say there's the funerary mask of King Tutankhamun, but here's another rock. Oh, I have no idea what the hell that is. He can. And he can go back into the various dynasties and the various periods of history in Egypt. GEM, the Grand Egyptian Museum, is about to open, finally, and it's going to have, for the first time ever in history, the full contents of everything that Tutankhamun had in his grave, in his tomb. Another new museum has opened. It's called NMEC. It's all about Egyptian culture, and that is where the Hall of Royal Mummies is. That is brilliant. My goodness, you have to see that. Where I'm going with all of this is, I spoke to my agent, my colleague in Cairo, and I said to him, Karim, I said, we need to put back together a package that is 7 days, 6 nights long. He looked at me and said, that'll never work. It's just way too long for Cairo. I said, give me the chance and I'll prove it to you. And I did. Think in terms of this. You arrive on day one. Half your body is in Newark International Airport or JFK or Los Angeles. The other half of your body is somewhere over Greenland. The rest of your body is in Cairo. You're confused, hazed, dazed, and exhausted. So get an early night. That's night one. Night two, on that day, the pyramids, the Sphinx, the pyramid of Saqqara, the first temple, the pyramid, the stepped pyramid, the open air museum of Memphis, which was the old capital, and then you're done. You have to remember that depending on the season you go, when it's these areas are open, these sites are open that you can go in. You can't just walk in and out as you please. They close at a certain time. And of course, in the winter time, like now, well, they're going into spring now, but like we've just passed, they close early in the afternoon because sunset is early, like it is here in the United States. With the result, your days are shorter for actually getting out there. You need to see NMEC, the Hall of Mummies. You need to see parts of Gezira Island, which is the island in the middle of the Nile. You need to take a felucca cruise, which is one of those old boats with the big sails on them. A 2-hour catered event on the Nile River. You need to get to Khalil Khalili, the grand bazaar of Cairo. You need to go to Garbage City in the Makatam Hills, and you need to see the churches, the Coptic churches that were carved out into the mountains. You've also got Islamic Cairo with the Mosque of Muhammad Ali. You have Coptic Cairo, which is filled of churches and a synagogue, mind you. And also, it is the place, apparently, where the Holy Family, and talking about the Holy Family, would be Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, where they sought refuge for a time in Egypt. So, with all that, plus Abdeen Palace, which is the working palace of the president, which you can now see. So, with all of that, plus the high volume of traffic in Cairo, you can't do it in 3 days. Anybody who says you can, that's just stupid. You can go on Instagram and click, click, click. There's a pyramid, click. There's a Sphinx, click, and on you go. I wouldn't recommend that because the new motto or the new ethos in travel has become travel further, stay longer, don't rush. It's become experiential travel. So you can really get down and dirty and really feel what the place is like. So when you come back, these are memories that you've created in your mind forever. And then there's also another ethos that we use, and I use very often, and that is slow travel is the new luxury. So apart from affordable luxury, slow travel is the new luxury. Again, I'm talking to my age group. Younger people can move it much faster. I often see these things. How to spend 24 hours in Cairo. I don't even know why you would do that. That's just insane. I saw one, 48 hours in Istanbul. Why waste your time? Why? I don't even have an answer for that. I know that at my age I moved slower, which is why I want to travel with people of my age. And I'm just going to say baby boomer. I'm not going to tell you how old I am. But I want to travel with people my age. We have common interest. If one gets a leg cramp, we all slow down. We don't have to rush. Oh, Ken's got a leg cramp. Wow. All slow down and have a coffee. There's no rush. I'm not rushing toward the end of my life. I'm going to take it slow. and just enjoy every single moment. And that's what I enjoyed most about Istanbul, is that I could walk for a certain time, and I suffer from COPD, and it was summer, and the humidity was insane. So I could walk for a certain period and then just say, "Oh hell no, 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 no! Now I need to sit down." And there's nothing more exciting to me than sitting down and watching people traffic go back and forth and back and forth. I love that. Or finding a little coffee shop. It's all kitschy and weird and playing crazy music, bohemian style people. I love that. Or going out to the pyramids in Cairo and finding one of those restaurants that are in the desert so that you look back at the pyramids. And you kind of lie on the floor on these big cushions, big puffed cushions and so on. It really, it's fabulous. It truly, truly, truly is fabulous. Now, what I would do if you went to Egypt, I would then recommend you go to the region of Egypt, which is called Upper Egypt. Upper Egypt is to the south, which is kind of weird, but it's to the south of Cairo, and it's the region between Luxor and Aswan. Luxor is known as the greatest outdoor museum in the world. There are amazing temples, the Valley of the Kings, the Valley of the Queens, the Colossi of Memnon. Oh man, there's just so much, really. And downstream, you can see the temples of Esna, Edfu, Komombo, and then you'll get to Aswan. Something else that I'm introducing into our portfolio and want very much to promote. Again, the small group thing, okay? Everybody wants to go on boats, a cruise down the Nile River. And yeah, I agree with you. That is fun. But these boats are 60, 70, 80 passenger boats. So it kind of defines the object of a private tour or private experience. Worse is that they bank on the river, on the east side of the River Nile. And they all bank together. So this one arrives in banks. This one arrives in banks here. The next one is there. The next one is there. And. Now you have gone ahead and you have reserved boat number 4 because that's what you've been suggested to travel on. And I've never had it once. When you go down to the dock, now you're going to get on your boat. You're going to walk through boat A, you're going to walk through boat B, you're going to walk through boat C, and you're going to get to boat D. And I tell you, 100%, everybody says, "Oh, but boat B was much nicer than my boat. I don't want to be on this boat." Quah, 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 quah. And so, yeah, you know the rest of the story. Now I have to spend 4 nights or 5 nights on this thing. I have taken us to a new level. If you go to Egypt Tourism USA, you'll see some of our itineraries there and you'll see some of our recommendations. We don't do cruises on the regular Nile boats any longer. We now almost insist, and I'll do a really damn hard sell, or sell rather, on anyone to try and get them to experience a dahabia. What is a dahabia? I'm glad you asked. A dahabia is a wooden boat, small, huge sails, not power driven, and it gets its name from the fact that They were painted white, and so when the sun came up in the east or went settled in the west, it glowed a gold color. And dahabeeyah means gold in Arabic. So, cruising on a dahabeeyah, you'll find that there are only 16 passengers, meaning there are only 8 cabins, meaning it's a far more intimate experience for everybody. Now just imagine if you are grandma and grandpa and you want to take your daughter and your son-in-law and your 2 grandchildren. That's 6 of you. Theoretically, we can rent the whole dahabeeyah to just your family. You don't have to be sharing with Mr. and Mrs. whoever from wherever at all. We can command the entire boat for you. Something else about a dahabeeyah. I told you, you see the temple of Esna, Edfu, and Komombo on the way down between Luxor and Aswan, and you do. But dahabeeyahs are only permitted to dock on the west bank of the Nile River, giving you a completely different view of sailing on the Nile River. You go very slowly. If there's wind, you sail. If there's no wind, typical, oh God, it's funny. If there's no wind and that thing isn't moving, they have a little motorboat that they put a rope to the boat, to the dahabeeyah, and then the motorboat's way out there, and it starts pulling you. You don't have the vibration that you have on the other boats. It's just a gentle glide down the Nile River. You stop at little remote islands where suddenly lunch has been prepared for you. You stop at little villages on the way down and meet local people that the big boats won't do, because you can't schlep 80 people off at once to greet a family. But you can 6 or 8 people, that's perfect. You glide slowly to a place where you can actually swim in the Nile River. It's enclosed and you can swim in the Nile River, which I would not recommend at all. I'm a crazy guy. I'll do anything, but I wouldn't swim in the Nile, I'm afraid. And you know that age-old saying, if you drink water from the Nile, you will return. Don't do that. For the love of God, don't do that. If you want to return, phone me. I'll help you return. Do not drink water out of the Nile River. You won't know what the hell hit you. But take my advice on that. Just listen to what I'm saying to you. You get to Aswan, which is the southernmost part and the area which is called Nubia. And I like to, the very moment you arrive into Aswan, get you off of the vessel, let my team take your luggage away from you, drive you to the airport, and put you on a 1-hour flight south to Abu Simbel. You'll know Abu Simbel just by looking at it. You've seen a million pictures of it. It's the temple of Ramses II with the 4 big statues. One has collapsed and it's right on the Lake Nasser. This is the one that was in the 60s considered a very, very important UNESCO World Site. And so what they did was because they were building or creating the high dam Aswan, and it would start backing water up and this temple would flood, they dissected it piece by piece by piece by piece and moved it to higher ground so that we can enjoy it still today. And it's worth an experience, it's worth the visit, it's worth the 3 hours that you will spend getting there and back with the hour there. And then you can go to your hotel. We'll take you to your hotel. I like to use the Mövenpick Hotel. It's on an island in the middle of the Nile River, so you have to take a little boat to get there. And the boat is there all the time, so it doesn't matter what time you arrive. You can get back and forth. But the Mövenpick Hotel is a fabulous property, and lovely gardens, a lovely spa, fabulous rooms. It's like a tower in the middle with a beautiful 360-degree view of everything around you in Aswan. It's just nice. It really is nice. And I would spend 2 nights there. So the night that you've arrived, and then the the following night, so that you can go and see the sights of Aswan, which would be the unfinished obelisk, which would be a trip to the West Bank, to the mausoleum of the Aga Khan, to go up to the, on a camel ride, up to the top of the dunes and look at the sun setting over the Sahara. And then a night show at the Temple of Philae, which is in the High Dam Aswan, also moved. Now, I'm not a fan of sound and light shows, tacky. To me, you may love them. But if there's one I would recommend you do not miss, and that is it, the Temple of Philae. Oh, God, it's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Get up the next morning and fly to Cairo and come home. Or get up the next morning, fly to Cairo, drive to Alexandria, the pearl of the Mediterranean. Alexandria has got more of a Greco-Roman feel to it. It's very different to anything else you'd experience in Egypt. And I see a lot of tour brochures say it's a day tour. People, you don't want to exhaust yourself while you travel. Why do you want to do that? I mean, the drive alone is 3 hours. So let's assume you get to leave at 9 o'clock, 10, 11, 12 o'clock you're in Alexandria. Well, you're going to eat. Now it's 1 o'clock. You have 2, 3, 4, 3 hours to see Pompey's Pillar, the Serapeum, the old lighthouse area, the Corniche, the Library of Alexandria, Montaza Palace, which is a palace that the kings built for their summer retreat because of the cool breezes coming off the Atlantic. Also, if you're someone who's interested in the history of World War II, you can take a full day trip to El Alamein, which is to the west of Alexandria. But it is a full day, so you can't, I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Yeah? I'm looking out of our office window or out of my studio window, and I see the city of New York, and I think to myself, who would come here for a day? What would you do for a day? We have more sky decks, we have World Trade, we have the Ledge, we have Summit, Vanderbilt, we have the Empire State Building, Central Park. There's just so much. Why would you come here for a day? That's ridiculous. And that's the way I feel as well about traveling in Egypt. And particularly in Alexandria, a day tour is a waste of time. And finally, the very final, here's the cherry on the top, if you wanted one. When you leave Alexandria, assuming that you go, or let's assume that you've decided, no, he's not going to send me on Alexandria, you go to Cairo Airport, and you hop on a flight to Queen Alia International Airport, which is the airport of Amman. Hop in a transfer vehicle, which we will arrange for you, and go down to the Rose City, which is Petra. And you can spend 2 nights there. Reason being, the first night you're not going to get in to see Petra. A second day, you'll spend the whole day there, and after that, you're exhausted. You don't want to go further, so you'll go to bed. There's a Mövenpick hotel right at Petra, and a Hilton, I believe now. Then I would go to Wadi Rum. If you ever saw that movie, who's that boy, Matt Damon, Mars, that Mars movie thing? A lot of it was shot there, so that's the terrain you can expect to see. You sleep in bubbles. You sleep in this private bubble. They're all placed so you can't see into anyone else's bubble, but you sleep in this bubble, and you sleep on your bed looking up at the stars at night. And my goodness, in the darkness, you will see more stars than you believe you've ever seen in your life. It is stunning. I would honestly spend 2 nights there. And then what I do from there, just to sort of top it all off, is I would go to the Dead Sea. And I'd stay at the Kempinski Hotel on the Dead Sea. It's so brilliant. You can go floating on the Dead Sea. You can go reading your book on the Dead Sea. You can whatever you like. Just go relax before you go back to Alia Airport, Queen Alia Airport, and fly home whichever way you've gone. I think that if you have time to spare, and based on the fact that I'm pushing and pushing and pushing for affordable luxury, you should combine a visit to Istanbul, Cappadocia, from there to Ephesus, back to Istanbul to fly to Cairo. From Cairo, do the whole Cairo thing, go down the Nile, go to Abu Simbel, fly back, or go back to Aswan, do the Aswan sites, go from there to Amman, go down to Petra, Wadi Rum, cherry on the top, Red Sea, and then plan your journey to come home. I will help you with all of that stuff, because logistically, this is not something you can put together on your own. DIY does not work in such an controlled itinerary. When I say controlled itinerary, I don't mean you do it my way or no way. No. I never make reservations like that. I want to spend some time with you on a Zoom call and talk to you. Tell me who you are. What have you seen? What in your travels in the world have you enjoyed? What really strikes in your imagination about this part of the world? What do you have to see? What do you, okay, I'll see it if I must. And then we put together something that's absolutely unique for you. And again, I stress, please, slow travel is the new luxury. And this hiking of prices throughout the various seasons is just, in my opinion, ridiculous, and it's wrong. Affordable luxury is the way I have run this company for the last 40 years. In those 40 years, you'll wonder what I've done. Well, I've done a lot. I've done outbound corporate travel. I have done outbound leisure travel. I have done groups. I have done incentives. I have done MICE travel. I have done virtually everything. Birthday parties, functions, blah, 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 blah. But now, as I've become older, I want to focus just on, as I said to you earlier when we started, Morocco, Egypt, Jordan, Turkey, Kenya and Tanzania safari, a little trip down to Zanzibar, and then my home, Southern Africa, which is Cape Town, Victoria Falls, and Kruger National Park, so on. And then the Southern African countries. So that's where I'm focusing on. That's what I specialize in with my team. We have vetted very, very securely, long-lasting, very strong relationships wherever we work. so that if anything should befall you, I've just had someone right now who got confused about something on their trip in South Africa and picked up the phone to me on WhatsApp and said, blah, 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 what, I don't know what to do. And I said, go out and have lunch. I'm going to phone my office representative there and they'll take care of it. Don't waste your time. Go and enjoy what you're there for. We'll have the rest sorted out. You won't need to worry. And so it was. And all worked out well. She returned and just sent me a message from Cape Town International Airport saying, cannot believe what an amazing, amazing trip this was, which happens to have been her fourth trip with my company. That speaks volumes, in my opinion, that somebody will support you for and trust you with their travel arrangements, because you have to have a trust with your travel agent. You cannot have a trust with a computer. You cannot have a trust with an OTA where somebody answers the phone and says, reservations, how can I help you? What is your reservation number? Yeah, no, that can't be refunded. You can't change it any longer. Blah, 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 blah. You don't want that. Why would you wreck and ruin your vacation that you've invested time, effort, energy, and money into when, in actual fact, you can make one phone call or one text to me, and I'll just sort it out for you while you're having dinner or while you're out at the Victoria Falls, whatever you're doing. I'll sort it out for you. You don't need to worry about things like that. So that's the ethos that I work with at Vuitton Travel. You've heard me mention various things. So here's the first one. Vuitton Travel. It's VUITTON travel.com. And from Vuitton Travel, if you can read the blog that I do frequently, you can read our destinations. And if you click on the destinations, you will go to Egypt Tourism USA, you will go to Turkey Tourism USA, Morocco Tourism USA, Africa Tourism USA, just by clicking on the images, and Jordan Tourism USA. And then you can see all of our writings and musings and what we do and how we do it and when we do it and why we do it. But nothing is standard, because I feel that if we put together a standard tour saying that you have to be here then, and then you have to be there at that time, it just, imagine you're having a lot of fun and suddenly, oh, geez, I got to rush back to the bus. And you're late, and everybody sitting in the bus says, geez, where the hell were you? We're waiting for you. Quack, 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 quack. And it just becomes a bun fight. You don't want that. You're on vacation. Again, I'm talking to my generation, the baby boomers. Apparently, we're not supposed to like that term. We're supposed to take offense to that term. I don't. I'm a baby boomer, and I'm happy to be one. Because I've learned. I have learned so much through my life about travel, which I started when I was just 21 years old. 20 years old. You'll find this amusing. My first destination, oh good God, was Houston, Texas, all the way from South Africa. Why? I have absolutely no idea. No, I do. KLM Royal Dutch Airlines was starting their inaugural service from Amsterdam's Schiphol to Houston. And so they invited a bunch of travel agents to join them on this inauguration flight. It had never been, I had really, honestly, Houston was never on my bucket list. Even bucket list didn't even exist then. But it was never on my, oh my goodness, I have to go to Houston. However, Less than a decade before, Armstrong and Aldrin landed on the moon. And I was suddenly standing in the control center that monitored that whole thing that I saw on television. You have no idea how that blew my mind. I was absolutely beside myself. So that's just a bit of my own history. There's one thing last that I want to talk to you about. And this is kind of time sensitive, okay? I'm just switching pages here quickly. Okay. Go to Africa Tourism USA. Click on itineraries. And there you're going to see a 8-day Kenya Classic Safari. You're going to see an 8-day Tanzania Classic Safari. And you're going to see a 10-day Kenya and Tanzania Classic Safari. Let's talk about the Kenya one first. I'll talk about the Kenya one, and then I'll talk about the Tanzania one, and then I'll let you go, because I'm sure you're getting bored. The 8-day Kenya Classic operates from Nairobi, from the day you arrive in Nairobi, any day of the week. So if you arrive on a Wednesday, it operates. If you arrive on a Monday, it operates. If you arrive on a Sunday, it operates. You get the picture, right? It operates with a minimum of 2 people. So you don't have to buy into the sort of a product that will only operate if there are 10 people. You don't need to buy into that. And here's the advantage. Because you pick up the phone right now and you phone me and say, oh my God, I want to book that 8-day safari and I want to book it on this day. I will have that confirmation in your inbox tomorrow, given the time difference between us and Kenya. Then you can go and book your airline tickets and you can pay for them, which means you're getting a cheaper deal because the earlier you book, the better for you price-wise. And having said that, you will know that because it's you and your husband, or you and your wife, or you and your husband and your kid, whatever the case may be, that tour is bound to operate. So you're not going to be, oh, well, no, it's not operating. What do I do about my airline tickets? How do I get a refund? How do I change? Blah, blah, blah. Very, very simple. Folks, this price is $2,995 per person sharing accommodation. And you will visit Nairobi, yeah, for whatever that's worth, but after a long flight, you'll thank me for putting you in Nairobi for the night to just catch your breath, yeah? Next day, you get up and you go to Amboseli National Park. And there you stay at the Old Tukai Lodge. Amboseli Lodge, you don't know you've seen it, but you've seen it 1,000 times. It's Amboseli National Park. It's the park with the elephants and then Mount Kilimanjaro in the background. It's a stunning, stunning sight. It's not a huge park, but it's a well-maintained and well-stocked park. And you spend 2 nights there. Then you drive north to Lake Naivasha, and you see life from a different angle because you see it from the water here and on an island. So you'll be rowing between hippos and crocodiles and all kinds of things. It's not as bad, it's not as terrifying as it sounds. From there you go to Lake Nakuru National Park, and there you will spend 1 night. And Lake Nakuru National Park is the one that you've seen in every travel brochure, wherever you've looked for safaris, which has got the lake with the pink flamingos all the way around. That's Lake Nakuru National Park. And then for the last 2 days, you go to the world famous Masai Mara National Reserve. You'll note that I've called some places national parks and other places national reserves. Here's why. A national park is a game reserve, not preserve. That's a jam. It's a game reserve. But the Masai Mara National Reserve is a designated area where man and beast live alongside each other in harmony. That is Maasai territory. These people, the Maasai, are nomadic people, and they live in mud huts, and they move to wherever the water goes. So the government has designated that as an area where man and beast can coexist together. That's why it's called National Reserve. You'll spend 2 nights there. Then you come back to Nairobi, and that's where the end of the services are. Of course, we're not going to dump you in the middle of Nairobi. We're going to take you out perhaps for dinner. If you're on a late flight, it just depends on your flight schedule. And then we take you to the airport. But what you get in that, people, is first of all, it's an 8-day trip. You stay in 5-star properties. You have every meal, every day, breakfast, lunch, dinner, at every lodge. And if you're wondering, oh, geez, what do they feed us? Think Western buffet, okay? Just think Western buffet. There will be some exotics. And if there are exotics, they'll point them out. Oh, that there, yeah, that's crocodile. You don't have to eat that. Nobody's going to say you have to. Oh, then that's impala and that's buffalo. No. They show you where the exotics are and then where the regular run-of-the-mill is. So that program, the 8-day Kenya Classic Safari, it starts at $29.95. But here's what I do want you to know, and I'm just quickly scouting through it. Okay, this is important, people. That price is good from January 1, which of course is past, up to, your travel arrangements must be finished by June 30. This makes it the perfect Memorial Day trip for you. It does. Because that price doesn't fluctuate until July, when it shoots up by $1,000. It goes to $4,995. So if you're a first timer, this is, from my opinion, the perfect itinerary, and it is $39.95. $29.95. It is worth its weight in gold. All meals, all transportation, all accommodation, all with private bathroom facilities, all game drives, all everything. You don't need to fork out a penny other than on gratuities, which we'll tell you about, and cocktails or any beverages you drink, which is normal fare around the world. If you buy a bottle of water, you pay for it. That's all you ever have to pay for. Tanzania, on the other hand, is a more expensive destination. It has become, over the years, it's always has been, but it seems to be going up by the moment. There's an 8-day Tanzania Classic Safari, $3,995 for the 8 days. And that one starts in Arusha, which is the sort of the gateway. It's the Nairobi of the safari circuit in the western side of Tanzania. You'll spend the night in Arusha. Then you go to Tarangire National Park, which is pretty close to Arusha. You'll spend the night there before going to Lake Manyara National Park. And then 4, 5, and 6, you go to what can only be described as the most breathtaking national park in the world, and that is Serengeti National Park. So that you know, the Serengeti Masai Mara ecosystem is the same place. Yeah? It's called Serengeti on the Tanzanian side of the border, and it's called Masai Mara on the Kenyan side of the border. They're divided by the Mara River, and that is where the annual Great Migration takes place, where you see hundreds of thousands of wildebeest and zebra diving into the water and crossing into the Masai Mara, which will have had experienced its rainfall season by then, and it will be green and lush and so on. People ask me if I've been to see the Great Migration, and the answer is no, and here's why. And I am very straightforward. When you talk to me about your safari, and you say, oh, we want to see the Great Migration, blah, 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 blah. I will make sure to tell you, it's not the Lion King. You're not going to hear, can you feel the love tonight, blah, 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 blah. It is a bloodbath. Those wildebeest are the most stupid animals on God's given planet. And they dive into the water infested with crocodiles and the cats, cheetahs and leopards and lions that are just sitting waiting. You idiots are coming, we're hungry, we'll wait. So unless you've got the stomach to see mass slaughter and death of animals, I wouldn't go to see the Great Migration. Me, I would never go near it. Please, I can't even kill an ant. After that, you return from Serengeti and you go to another phenomenal experience, which is the Ngorongoro crater. It's a caldera, apparently. I don't know if this is true, but apparently a meteor or something, whatever age, slammed into the earth and just made this huge crater. And it's stocked to the top with animals. It has a lake. There's many animals in and out all the time. They cannot get out. I mean, they can if they really wanted to, but hell, why would you? You have water, you have food. The predators have animals to hunt. This is the Garden of Eden. Why go? And then finally, people, back to Arusha and to the airport of Kilimanjaro for your flight to Zanzibar or your flight back to Cairo or your flight back to Istanbul or whatever. See, there's so many ways you can put all of this together. Yeah? It just depends on how much time you have and what your budget is. I'm not saying to you, oh, you must put together aside a budget of 20,000. No, that's ridiculous. When you get a safari that is as inexpensive as 2,995 for 8 nights, and let's assume you do 8 nights in Tanzania, that is 3,995. So call it 4 and 3, $7,000 for 16 days in East Africa on safari. All meals, all accommodation, all everything. The only thing that we have to do is get you from Nairobi to Arusha. And you can do that by shuttle bus through the border post of Namanga. It's about a 4-hour drive. Get you to your hotel, put you to bed. The next day, off we go on safari. And then finally, and I'm not going to tell you about it, you can go and look at it yourself. There's the 10-day Kenya and Tanzania Classic Safari, and it starts at $4,395. And you're going to find all of this that I've talked to you about at Vuitton Travel. Let me remind you, VUITTON travel.com. Go to destinations, click on whichever one you want, Africa, Egypt, Morocco, Jordan, whatever it is that you're looking for, and you'll then be redirected to these other websites that we promote and that we work on. Read the blog, contact me. I am always open for a Zoom call that we can sit and talk to each other, that I can get to know you and you can get to know me, and I'll pull things out of you that I know will enhance your journey a great deal. A quick example, person went to Cape Town. I know she is crazy about jazz. She's always posting jazz this, jazz that, jazz the next thing, blah, 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 blah. Did you know about the Cape Town Annual Jazz Festival? Said I. No, she said, there's such a thing? I said, absolutely yes. And we took everything that she was going to do and we structured it around the Cape Town Jazz Festival. So it's things like that I do that will enhance your experience for your travel. That's kind of what I feel. So call me. I'm happy to talk to you anytime during our office hours. You can get me. I'm in I'm in New Jersey. The number, write this down if you have a pen and paper. If not, go to one of our websites and you'll see it there under Contact Us. But it's 201, that's the area code, 201-899-6899. And we're open from Monday to Thursday, 10 to 4 Eastern Time. Friday, 10 to 1. Saturday to Sunday, we're closed. But if you send me an email, I'm not going to just to hell with you. I'll only answer you on Monday. If there's something urgent, particularly if you're traveling and you WhatsApp me, I won't say, I'm sorry, honey, I'm busy relaxing for the weekend. I've taken my job very seriously over many, many years, and I have sent wonderful, wonderful people away who have come back with amazing, amazing experiences. I've also sent some godforsaken people from hell on vacation who just had to find fault in absolutely everything. And my only response is, why did you go? Why did you waste your money? Why didn't you just stay in Nebraska? Be done with it. Folks, thank you for your time. I've had fun talking to you. I hope you've enjoyed it. I know I've waffled a lot, but go Vuitton, Vuitton, travel.com. You'll find everything there. You can contact me there. The contact email address is there. The WhatsApp phone number is there. You can text me whatever you need about Turkey, Egypt, Kenya, and Tanzania. I will help you with everything. I'll be back again in a couple of days, and when I am, I suggest you follow me, by the way, so that you get a note when I'm live again, because next time I'm going to talk about my other passion, which is Morocco, my home country, South Africa, Namibia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, and Zambia, as well as Mozambique. And I'll be offering prizes. Think about it. Stay in touch. I appreciate your time. Bye.